नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all of you to our Bhagavad Gita weekly session. We are discussing Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let me mute this. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, welcome all of you. We were discussing introduction section. Last week, what we had discussed, let's have a quickly recap. We started with Mangalacharan. Srila Prabhupada is beginning the introduction with Mangalacharan, invoking auspiciousness to the reader. Then we saw how Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedic knowledge. It is a very important Upanishad, Gita Upanishad. It is the song of God. And the Vedic canon is basically divided into three divisions of knowledge, Prasthana Traya. The Bhagavad Gita falls in Smriti Prasthana, whereas other two Prasthanas are Shruti and Nyaya. And at the same time, Bhagavad Gita can be also called as Shruti Prasthana, because Shruti is direct revelation from the God, and the words remains unchanged as Sri Krishna himself is speaking the Bhagavad Gita. And then it can be also considered Shruti Prasthana. And why it is called primarily Smriti Prasthana? Because it falls in Mahabharata, and Mahabharata falls in the category of Smriti Prasthana. There are various of translations already available in the market, but why Srila Prabhupada developed a desire to further give commentary on Bhagavad Gita, his commentary, because he reveals his heart. Because at that point in time, almost all the translations what were available, English translations specifically, and they were self-motivated. So author expressed his own opinion in that without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So hence he developed a desire to comment on Bhagavad Gita in English, and he named it as Bhagavad Gita as it is. So what do we mean by as it is? So the intention through which Krishna has spoken, the spirit with which Krishna has spoken, that spirit is maintained in his translations. So Krishna is establishing himself as supreme personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, and that has been confirmed by many acharyas. So like when we are asked to take a medicine, we have to take medicine as per the direction of the physicians, or as per the instruction written on the label of the medicine. We should not take whimsically, otherwise we might not reap the full benefits of the medicine. So similarly, Bhagavad Gita has to be read and understood as it is spoken by the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. Krishna is the Supreme Bhagavan. Further, Vishnu Puran states, who is the Bhagavan? Parasar Muni tells that who is full with all the six opulences infinitely, he is Bhagavan. Strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. And all these are present in Krishna in unlimited degree. This knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is not old, it's not new. This was old, Puratana, and in chapter 4, Lord states that this knowledge he has given to sun god, and then sun god given to moon, and Manu, and Manu has given to Ikshvaku. And like that way, by disciplic succession, this knowledge is descending, but in due course of time, this knowledge appears to be lost. Hence, again, Krishna is choosing Arjuna to give this knowledge. Why he choose Arjuna? Because he is his dear devotee and dear friend. Bhakto Sime Sakha Cheti. And there are three kinds of transcendentalists who endeavor for perfection. Jnani, who believes in impersonal, who does not believe on the form of the Lord. They are the impersonalist. And then yogi, who meditate the Paramatma in his heart. And bhakta is the devotee of the Lord, who always tries to establish a relationship with Bhagavan. And he concentrates on the form of the Lord. And he sees the Lord in various forms. So what are the different kind of relationship exist between the devotee and the Supreme Lord? There are 5 prominent relationship, starting from Santarasa, Dasyarasa, Sakhyarasa, Vaschalya, and Madhuryarasa. In English, they means like neutral taste, and then servitor taste, and then friendly, and then Vaschalya means parental, and Madhurya conjugal. And they further have 7 other secondary mellows, laughter, wonder, chivalry, and compassion, and then anger, disaster, and fearfulness. Hasya, Adbhuta, Virya, then Karunya, Raudra, Vivatsa, and Bhaya. This is being described in Srimad Bhagavatam. When Krishna enters to Mathura, same Krishna is being seen by various different personalities, but they develop different tastes as per their individual mood. Basically, our constitutional position is part and parcel of Krishna. We all are individually related to Krishna in a particular relationship. That is our Swarupa. But right now, we are in a forgetful state. So we are not able to recognize our own Swarupa. So through the process of devotional service, one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is Swarupa Siddhi. So hence, bhakti is the ultimate means through which we can develop a healthy relationship with the Supreme Lord, and that is the main import of Bhagavad Gita. And how Arjuna, because this is a conversation between Bhakta and Bhagavan, and main essential, although many other topics has been spoken, various different methods Krishna has spoken in Bhagavad Gita. He spoke Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But prime conversation is Krishna's recommendation is Bhakti Yoga. This is a conversation between Bhagavan and Bhakta. In 10th chapter, Arjuna is revealing his heart. He is accepting Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Sashwatam Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum. He addresses Krishna as supreme absolute truth. His abode is the ultimate abode, and he is the purest, not contaminated by material nature. He is the Param Bhagavan, and he is the Param Purusha. He is the ultimate enjoyer. He is eternal, Shashwatam, and he is transcendental, Divyam, Adidevam. He is the beginning of everything, who has no other beginning. Ajam, the unborn, although he is unborn, but he still descends into the material world for the benefit of all of us, to reclaim all of us back to our original home. And he is Bibhum, he is the greatest. And then Arjuna further states that it is not only my opinion, oh my Lord Krishna, this is being spoken and admitted by all the bona fide acharyas, Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa. And now further you are stating your greatness. I am accepting everything in complete truth. So this is the mood of a devotee. So while beginning the study of Bhagavad Gita, we should cultivate this mood. At least theoretically, we should accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we can really understand Bhagavad Gita. And in this submissive spirit, if we approach Bhagavad Gita, then we can understand it. Otherwise, it is a great mystery. The perfect knowledge will not be revealed to us. This will remain as concealed. Because Krishna himself tells that why he is giving this knowledge to Arjuna, because Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. He is a dear devotee of Krishna and he is a dear friend of Krishna. That is the qualification. We have to build a relationship, at least a friendly relationship with Krishna. If this is not obvious at this moment, we should at least theoretically accept that, oh, Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the Swam Bhagavan. And that should be the mood, in the spirit of devotion. The purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is to deliver the mankind, from the nescience of this material existence. That means to reclaim all of us back to Godhead. So we are here suffering in this material world. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, and Adhyatmik. So all these 7 sufferings are fundamental to every jiva. And out of many, many millions and crores of the jivas, few develops this inquiry. Who am I? Why I am here? Why am I suffering? Why I am not experiencing unlimited pleasure, although I strive for it? Why I am not able to live forever, although I want to live eternally? So these are the fundamental inquiries some intelligent people develop, and Bhagavad Gita is perfectly suitable for those who have developed this kind of inquiry. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Then we also saw Krishna makes his appearance for this particular purpose only, Paritranayam Sadhunam, to liberate the pious souls, to deliver the pious souls. And Arjuna, we should not misunderstand that Arjuna is bewildered, Arjuna is illusion. No, actually Arjuna is a Nitya Parsada. He is permanent resident of the holy abode. He is a dear associate of Krishna, but he is put into illusion by the internal potency of Krishna, by the Yogamaya Shakti. He is put into illusion, and he is behaving as if a common man, so that Krishna can speak Bhagavad Gita to us through Arjuna. And Bhagavad Gita is speaking these 5 basic truths: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Karma, Kala. We had seen Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Karma, Kala. Out of all these 5, four are eternal: Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kala, and Karma is not eternal. Ishvara is the supreme controller, and we are basically controlled, and we are conditioned. Basically, although we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but still we forget. And because of this forgetfulness, we are putting into the conditioned state. And Prakriti, which is the material nature, and Kala, which is again the energy of the Supreme Lord, Kalosmi, he tells in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11. And he tells Prakriti, Daivihi esa gunamai mama maya. Okay, it is my energy. So these all four are eternal: Jiva, Jagata, Ishvara, and Kala. And karma is not eternal, because karma is purely dependent on the free will of the Jiva. Okay, we have seen this. So let us begin our today's discussions from here. There is essential difference between Lord and living entity. Although both are Kshetrajna. Kshetra means field, Kshetrajna means knower of the field. Both are Kshetrajna. Jiva, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, inherent the similar quality. But Jiva is limited, but Lord is unlimited. Lord is Vibhum, Jiva is Anu. In that sense, when we call Jiva as Kshetrajna, yes, he is Kshetrajna, but he is knower of his body only. Okay? The field of the activities is his body only. So he is conscious of his body. Whereas the Lord Kshetrajna, he is big, he is unlimited. He is the knower of the field, not only, and his field is consisting of all the bodies, okay, of the living entity as well as the material universe. So he is conscious, he is supreme conscious, his supreme consciousness of everything what it exists, whether living or non-living. He resides in heart of all living entity as Paramatma. Not only in living entity, he resides in every atom of the universe. Whereas living entity can reside only in its own body. Living entity can control to a lesser degree, and mostly he is being controlled, and he can come in the lap of three modes of material nature. Mostly he is being controlled with the three modes of material nature. So hence his condition, not condition. Okay, he is not in control of the Prakriti. He is not in control of material nature. In fact, he is the controller of all bodies and all this what exists. He is not affected by karma, never. Whereas Jiva, being engaged in various of activities, is affected by karma. Jiva transfers from one body to another in the process of transmigrations, but this doesn't happen to the Lord. Lord travels with the living entity from one body to other, but this is his Paramatma expansions. At the same time, he remains unchanged. Jiva's karma can be changed when he chooses to act in mode of goodness. Hence, karma is not eternal. So how he will remain in the mode of goodness? By getting the knowledge. This knowledge is given in Bhagavad Gita. And how Jiva's consciousness is contaminated? Because consciousness by itself is pure, Satchit and Ananda. But like a light when is traveling through a colored glass appear to be colorful. In the similar way, when Jiva is encased in this material body, his consciousness is getting contaminated, and he identify himself similar with body. He forgets his identity as Satchidananda. Then Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to purify this consciousness. And in that purified consciousness, whatever activities Jiva will do, that is called bhakti. By performing in another way, by performing bhakti, Jiva can purify his contaminated consciousness. He can purify it. He can transfer himself from a conditioned state to a constitution state. Yeah. So in this contaminated state, basically, he is experiencing false ego, ahang and mameti. So this kind of false conception he is developing. And by this misconception, he thinks himself as controller and creator and enjoyer. Yeah. But actually, he is not so. He is a cooperator. But then why is having this kind of perception? Being a part and parcel of Supreme Lord, whatever exists in the Lord, the same things also exist in the Jiva to a minute scale. But actually, he is being created for the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord. Jivera Swarupa hai Nitya Krishna Dasa. Krishna is the master and we are the eternal servant of him. That is our constitutional position. Lord is the actual enjoyer. So like we are part of a machine. And it's like we are, it's like part of the machine. So when a screw, let's say, the ultimate use of the screw will be there when it will be attached to the machine itself. Otherwise, as such, when screw is detached from machine, it has no major use. And similar, like part of the body, they should cooperate with the body. Like hand should cooperate with the body to feed the stomach. Then only the hand also will be nourished. In the similar way, we have to strive for, or we have to perform the activities for the enjoyment of the Lord. Then in return also we will get a lot of happiness. That is the byproduct of it. Also further examples has been given, like watering a tree, we water the root. We do not water the leaves, branches, twigs. But while watering the roots, various parts of the tree is getting nourishment automatically. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this teaching in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's telling that the entire Vedic canon is speaking three fundamental things: Bhagavan, Bhakti, and Prema. What it means? That the entire Vedic literature is teaching us the relationship between us and the Supreme Lord. That is the Sambandha. How the Supreme Lord is, who we are, how we are connected, what we should supposed to do. That Sambandha Jnana is given in Veda. And Bhakti is the Avideya. Now, after studying Veda, one person will come to know that he has to render devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and that's how, and that is Avideya. So when he understands the Lord, when he gets the Sambandha Jnana, then how to act in that relationship. Acting in that relationship means rendering devotional service to the Lord. That is the real occupation, the process of bhakti. That is Avideya. Why? At the end, what he will get? The ultimate goal is prayojana, that is prema, to get the love of Godhead. Krishna prema. Krishna prema is the ultimate goal of the life. That is the prayojana. Further, in his book, Sripad Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in Dasamula Tattva, very beautifully, he has put forward the entire teachings of Veda. The first Tattva, he gives that Veda is the ultimate pramana. Veda is the ultimate authority. And then 7 other truths are Sambandha. And then 8th and 9th, Avideya and Prayojana. All put together consist of 10 Tattva, the Samula Tattva. First is Veda is the ultimate pramana, then about 7 other truths in Sambandha. So that makes it 8, and then Avidaya Tattva, and then Prayojana Tattva makes it 10. So in the Sambandha, what is the relationship? Relationship, Krishna is the Param Tattva. He is the Supreme Absolute Truth, Hari. And he is the possessor of all potency. That means he is the Shaktiman, and everything what we see here are his energies only. And he is the ocean of all nectarian mellows, Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu. So these are the 3 basic truths about the Supreme Lord. And we Jiva are the Vivinnansa Tattva, both the liberated and conditioned Jiva. Liberated means those Jiva who do not identify themselves in body, who have already realized their ultimate nature as soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They are liberated. And the conditioned souls who are identifying themselves in bodily platform, okay, both are separated part and parcels of the Supreme Lord, Vivinnansa Tattva. And then conditioned souls are subject to control and covering of Maya. Maya will control over the Baddha Jiva. Whereas the liberated souls, the Mukta Jivas, they are not in the control of Maya. So in a sense, here Jiva is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is Sachidananda. He is also Sachidananda. But Jiva, God is greatest, Vibhu, and Jiva is Anu. And if Lord is an ocean of water, the Jiva is a droplet of that water. So hence, Jiva is simultaneously similar with the Lord, but different. So similar in quality, but not same in quantity. Okay. So this gives rise to the Tattva called Achintya, Veda and Aveda. Both similar and not similar. Yeah? So Veda means different, Aveda means non-different. Simultaneously, Jiva is different and non-different with the Supreme Lord. And this philosophy is inconceivable, okay? Achintya. That is the ultimate tattva. And Abhidaya, Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service, is the only practice to attain perfection. Sadhana, Bhakti, is the only Abhidaya. Prayojana, at the end, the goal is Krishna Priti or Krishna Prema. That is the sadhya. Krishna's energy can be bifurcated into two, para and apara. Para means spiritual energy, apara is material energy. It is being stated in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, Bhumir apanala vayu kham manabudhirevacha ahankara ityamte vinna prakritir astadha apareyam itastu anyam prakritim vidhime param Jiva bhutam mahabaho yayadam dharyate jagat. So para is superior energy. Apara means inferior energy. Superior energy is spiritual and inferior energy is material. And that material inferior energy gives rise to this material world, which is external to the Supreme Lord. Bahiranga Sakti. Whereas the spiritual energy are of two types. One is Attaranga, that is internal, and another is Tatastha or marginal. Jiva or his individual soul falls into this category. We are the spiritual in nature, but we are kind of marginal. Being our marginal status, we can live both in the spiritual world as well as material world. That basically depends on our consciousness. In our contaminated consciousness, we live in material world. But in our purified consciousness, we can live in spiritual world. So that is the whole journey, how to travel to this spiritual world from our material consciousness to purified consciousness. Lord's Antaranga Shakti consists of three fundamental things: Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat is Sandhini Shakti, Chit is Sambit Shakti, and Ananda is Allahadini Shakti or bliss potency. Allahadini Shakti is the bliss potency. Sandhini Shakti is the knowledge, eternality aspects. Sorry, Sandhini Shakti is the knowledge aspect, the eternality aspects. Like the eternal abode of the Supreme Lord. Okay, Lord manifests himself into his holy dham. So that comes from the Sat potency. And cognitive potency, the Sambit Shakti, is that knowledge potency, through which Lord is cognizant of everything. And by this knowledge, Jiva also can know the Supreme Lord. And Allahadini Shakti is the bliss potency or the pleasure potency, and Srimati Radharani is the ultimate embodiment of this bliss potency. And Jiva, when identify himself as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord at his perfection stage by performing bhakti, will be able to test this Allahadini Shakti. Thereby, he can experience the pure love of God. Whereas in this material world, the love of God is existing not in its purest form, it is existing in adulterated form. Okay. We experience some love, but all these are not abundant. All these are not, these are ceaseless. These are kind of a spark of loves, okay, which we experience sometime and which extinguishes after that. Further in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is being said, Kama Prema Donakhyara, Vivinna Lakshana, Eka Lahua, one is like iron and another is gold. Iron, it can be contaminated, it can be rusted, but gold not. Yeah? So Kama means the lust or the adulterated love that we experience in this material world. This is like iron, whereas the pure love of God is like gold. Atmendriya pritivancha tare boli kama krishnendriya priti ichha dhare premana. Actually, love, Krishna prema, is to satisfy the Lord, to give the enjoyment to the Lord, to engage in the activities which will bring pleasure to the Supreme Lord. Whereas Kama is Atmendriya, to give pleasure to our own senses. That is material desire or lust. Here in Bhagavad Gita, it is being further spoken that the Sankhya philosophy further delineates this material world into 24 elements. This cosmic material world is creating and annihilating in a periodic interval, and this consists of 24 elements. Although they are created and annihilated, but still they are eternal because it is being repeated itself eternally. Whereas karma is not eternal. And Krishna is the source of all these, control living entities, as we have seen in the last slides, and the material world, eternal time, everything is under his supervision. The same Supreme Lord we can understand him that he is the Satchidananda Vigraha, Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. He is the beginning of everything, and he who has no beginning, and he is having Satchidananda form. He is having a form, he is a person, he has qualities, and his form is Satchidananda. We had seen what does Sat means, what does Chit means, what does Ananda means, and he can be perceived if we equate him as a sun, and then how we can experience him. He can be experienced in various levels. In an impersonal realization, he can be experienced as Brahma, as sun rays, and with that we can experience only the eternal nature, only the eternity. So that is Brahman realization, only the Sat aspect. Whereas in Paramatma realization, we can experience Sat and Chit both, eternal aspects as well as knowledge aspect. Like experiencing the sun disk. So experiencing the surface of the sun disk, how hot it is, so some kind of and some kind of form. So sun disk, we might misinterpret that, oh, sun is looking like a from a far distance. When I see the sun, it is looking like a fruit, a small fruit. So but at least he appreciates some form of the Lord, so some knowledge about the Lord. So basically it's a Sat and Chit aspect. Whereas the Bhagavan realization is the complete realization, Sat, Chit and Ananda. Because in the Bhagavan realization, devotees not only appreciate the form of the Lord, he develops a relationship with him. With that relationship, he can exchange a lot of varieties of rasa, taste, transcendental mellows, and he can experience Supreme Ananda. Although Jiva is complete in itself, and this material world is also complete in itself, because this material world has everything which is required for the maintenance and subsistence of the jivas. And also material world has everything to give the knowledge to the jiva, through various of its sufferings. Hey, why you are undergoing these sufferings? Because your inherent nature is this. You are suffering because of your misidentification. You have turned your faces away from Krishna. If you will turn your face towards Krishna, then that is the perfect happiness. You will not further suffer. So everything. So in that way, this cosmic material manifestation is also complete. Invocation prayer of Sri Isopanishad. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. The Lord is complete whole, and from complete whole, many complete wholes are also emanated, like cosmic manifestations. Even though the complete wholes manifest from him, but still whatever he remains, he is also complete. But Jiva, being a complete entity, experience incompleteness. Why? Because of the absence of complete knowledge about that complete, or because of this incomplete knowledge about that complete whole. That's the basically main root of his experience of incompleteness. So how this material world is consisting of 24 elements, it is being further given here. Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether, and 5 knowledge acquiring senses, eyes, nose, ears, skin, tongue, and 5 working senses, speech, leg, hand, anus, genitals, and 5 tanmatra, which are the objects of the senses: form, smell, sound, touch, taste. So all these consist of 20, and then 4 more: mind, intelligence, false ego, and unmanifested state of prakriti, or unmanifested state of this material universe. Here, mind, intelligence, and false ego, they are the subtle, whereas rest all are gross. And in this material world, or this is the field of activities, in this field of activities, Jiva, having his own desire or hatred, Ichha or Dvesha, according to his own conditioning, he performs various activities, and as a result, he has to either suffer or experience happiness by the fruits of his activity. He tastes the fruits of his activity. And Jiva, in his body, his body basically undergoes 6 transformations: birth, growth, stage. Means basically it takes birth, it grows, it stays for a while, and it produces offspring, and then it deteriorates, and ultimately appear death. Whereas any unconscious being in this material world, like any other non-living object, it undergoes 4 transformations. So it cannot produce offspring and it cannot grow, but birth and stage, dwindles, and death, that is applicable for unconscious being too. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Vedic canon is, we had seen in Prasthana Traya, like Shruti and Smriti. This is the prime 2 divisions. In the Shruti comes Veda, and Veda is further divided into 4: Rig, Yajur, Sam, and Atharva. And Vedas, various Vedas, like all these Rig, Yajur, Sam, Atharva, all the 4 Vedas, they are divided further in different sections: Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. Upanishads are Jnana Kanda, and similarly other 3 are, Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda are also there. So Samhitas are the mantras, Brahmanas are all the ritual explanations of the mantras, and Aranyakas are, esoteric explanation of the mantras. How a renounced order of person lives in the forest. Aranyakas has been given. Yeah. And Upavedas are also there, and Vedangas, so various streams of Vedas. So basically Shruti is that revealed knowledge from the absolute truth, and it remains unchanged. Yeah, through the process of disciplic succession, it is being transmitted, but the words are remain unchanged. As it is being spoken by the Supreme Lord, the same is conveyed down the line thousands of millions of years. Yeah. And then in the Smriti, basically it is the same essential teaching. Again, it also finds its root in the Supreme Lord. It has come from the Supreme Lord, yeah, through the process of revelations to the sages, and where the words may change. It's the same essential teaching of the Vedas, of the Shrutis, but now in a case studies basis, and where the words change. They also further divided into few other categories. Yeah, so like and the tantras. So this is the method of worship. Yeah, and the pancharatras. So Vaishnava method of worship, and the Puranas. There are 18 major Puranas and 18 minor. 18 major Puranas. They are again divided into 6 Sattva, 6 Tama, 6 Rajas Purana. Yeah. And then further Itihasa, Ramayana and Mahabharata falls in Itihasa, and 6 philosophy of Indian school. So this is Vedanta, Mimamsa, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga and Sankhya. This is just in a brief. Further, if you have interest, you can deeply study. Yeah. As we see that Bhagavad Gita is coming under the Smriti Prasthana, whereas Nyaya Prasthana, the Vedanta Sutra, these are the formulas derived from the Jnana section of the Vedas, okay, from the Upanishads. All these teachings of 108 Upanishads are comprised in 555 aphorisms or 555 sutra or formulas. So this is consisting of Vedanta Sutra. So in a very logical way, this will establish, in a philosophical way, establish the aspects of the Supreme Lord. So that is Vedanta Sutra. So any bona fide sampradaya has to have commentary in all the 3 sections. Otherwise, it is not bona fide. So these are here some sampradayas like Adi Sankaracharya, belongs to Advaita school, and the Vedanta Sutra commentary is Saririka Bhashya. So on for Ramanujacharya, Sri Madhava Sampradaya, and also Vallabhacharya and Nimakacharya. And in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, has written the commentary called Govinda Bhashya, about Brahma, the Sutras or Vedanta Sutras. So Vedanta Sutra, basically, there are 3 conclusions, which is also given in chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. There are 2 classes of living entities, like fallible and infallible, Baddha and Mukta. Fallible living entities are living in this world, who are struggling with their mind and senses. And infallible living entities are those who reside in the spiritual world, and whose desire are like same with the desire of Krishna. And Paramatma, who is the maintainer of all these cosmic manifestations, who reside in each and every atom and also living entities. He is the maintainer. And Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is none other than Krishna, he is beyond fallible and infallible. He himself is the source of Brahman and Paramatma. His source of Brahman, he speaks in chapter 14, na Brahmanohi Pratisthaham. And further in chapter 13, Upadashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhukta Maheshwaraha Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesmin Purushaha Para. So he is residing in the heart of everyone, as a Paramatma. So he is the source of Brahman and Paramatma. He is the greatest, one who have knowledge about him, can know him, and he will engage in devotional service with him, and that's how he can attain perfection. So these are the conclusions of Vedic Vedanta Sutra. As we have seen, Sripad Bhakti Vinod Thakur has also delineated this subject matter in his Dasamula Tattva, 10 essential facts or truths of Vedic canon. These are the 4 bona fide sampradaya. Attaching to one of them, you can get perfection of the life. Yeah, Brahma Sampradaya, Lakshmi Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. Basically, they are divided by the channel through which Krishna has given this knowledge. Krishna has given this knowledge to Lord Brahma, and then further down the line, so this is Brahma Sampradaya. Then Krishna has given this knowledge to Mother Lakshmi. Then further it went down, so this is Sri Sampradaya. And Raudra Sampradaya, when Lord Krishna has given this knowledge to Kumara, to Lord Shiva, and then further down the line, and the 4th one is Kumara Sampradaya, when Lord Krishna has given this knowledge to Chatus Kumar, 4 Kumaras, okay, then percolated down the line. So these are the 4 bona fide Sampradaya, and Gaudiya Sampradaya comes in this Brahma Sampradaya, Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. Okay, and the prominent Acharya of Brahma Sampradaya is Madhavacharya, and his commentary is Purna Prajna Bhasha. Okay, and down the line, in the same disciplic succession, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and he gives this Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, simultaneous oneness and different philosophy. Okay, inconceivable oneness and difference, philosophy. And in Lakshmi Sampradaya or Sri Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya is the prominent Acharya, and he has given his commentary as Sri Bhashya, and his philosophy or tattva is Visishta Daityovad. And in Rudra Sampradaya, basically the prominent Acharya is Vishnu Swami or Vallabhacharya. So they have also written their commentary on Vedanta Sutra, and they have given the philosophy Suddha Daityavada, purified monoism. And in Kumar Sampradaya, Nimbacharya is the prominent Acharya, and his tattva is Daitva Daitva Vada, means monoism and dualism. So yeah, these are, maybe in some other forum we will further discuss in great detail, what does it mean by dualism, monoism. Yeah. So because of interest of time, this is a vast subject. Yeah, but just for a introductory note, this is good enough to know at this time. Whereas, in a society, also Mayavad Sampradaya exists, which is Smartha Sampradaya, but this is not a bona fide, means in a sense, this is a misguided philosophy. Okay, this is this is a misguided philosophy. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu want specifically, whoever will follow this Mayavad philosophy, ultimately Sarvanashaya. Okay. Vedic knowledge, this Vedic knowledge is complete and it's infallible, beyond the mistakes, because it is spoken by the Lord himself. Apaurishaya. And Lord is not contaminated. He is not controlled by this material nature. He is beyond all the 3 modes of material nature. So he is free of all the 4 basic defects. What are these 4 basic defects? Which, this is inherent to a jiva. Okay, every human being are infused with these 4 defects: imperfect senses, and illusion, commit mistakes, and cheating propensity. Like, it's not very difficult to understand. We all have imperfect senses because our eyes, ear, and nose, have some limit. Our eyes cannot see all the spectrums of light. Our ear cannot hear all the frequency of the sound wave. Yeah, our eye cannot see similarly all the spectrum. Yeah, so because of the imperfect senses, sometimes we are illusion. When sometimes we think that By seeing the mirage in the desert, we take it as water bodies. Sometimes by seeing the reflections of an image, we tend to take it as real. So all these varieties of illusion, so that's the reason we commit mistakes, because of our imperfect senses and illusory state. We commit mistakes, and to overcome that, or to cover up that, we have all cheating propensity. We cheat others because we do not want to be less important, or we do not want to show us our real nature. So we have a cheating propensity. So Lord do not have this. So hence Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Vedic scripture, which is infallible, which is the complete. There is no defect in it. So this is also a ultimate source of the truth. Vedic knowledge is not subject to research, because whatever instrument we will use for research, they are ultimately full of defects. So how come? So Vedic literature is not a matter of research, and this same knowledge come down to us through the parampara, disciplic succession. Guru is conveying the knowledge to disciple, disciple conveys the knowledge to his disciple, like that. So like we might not have perfect knowledge, but when the same perfect knowledge transmitted from the Lord to someone, and then again the same person gives the same knowledge without contaminating it, so in that state the pure knowledge can come down to us, and this is the only means through which we can get pure knowledge. Otherwise, by our own mental speculations, it's almost difficult. And through various channels, the same knowledge is coming. So Bhagavad Gita knowledge is coming through the channel of Arjuna. And there are several examples, to justify why Vedic knowledge is infallible and complete truth. Because you see, cow dung, as per the Veda, cow dung is a purified agent. Whereas, in a general sense, as such, stool is inauspicious. So if someone touches any stools of any animal, he has to purify himself by taking bath. Whereas cow dung is declared as purifying agents in Veda. And few hundreds years back, scientists also have discovered, yes, cow dung has a lot of antiseptic things. So many such other examples are there. So hundreds and thousands years back also, Veda reveals this knowledge. Ultimately, what is the goal of human life by reading Bhagavad Gita? What we will get to know. To purify our existence. That is the ultimate goal. To re-establish our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord, to re-establish our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, to go back to Godhead, to the spiritual sky, which is eternal and which is full of knowledge and which is blissful. So that is the Sanatana Dharma. Okay, that occupation is Sanatana Dharma. By utilizing properly the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, we can attain this perfection. And that is the basic goal of Bhagavad Gita, to give us the realization and to make us aware what is the real goal of human life. And that is the importance of human form of life, because in any other form, this knowledge or this, this cannot be comprehended by any other form. So human being is the most intelligent, and Lord has given this intelligence just to facilitate this. So that through this intelligence we will develop an inquiry: who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? And how can I make break to the sufferings? Whereas the human being is different to all the animals. Animals are engrossed in eating, mating, sleeping, defending. We should not be engrossed in such activities. Ahara bhaya, ahara nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanyam etat pasubi naranam dharmo hi tesam adhiko visesho dharmena hina pasubi samana. Mahabharata says this. Dharma is the essential difference between the human being and the animals. Animals will not be punished by killing other animals, whereas human being will incur sin. And further, one of the prominent acharyas, Sripada Ramanujacharya, has spoken the meaning of Sanatana. Sanatana means that which has no beginning, no end. So, in a sense, Sanatana Dharma is not a sectarian process. Religion is not also a perfect synonym for the word Dharma, because religion is something, a kind of faith. But Dharma, when we talk of Sanatana Dharma, Dharma means it's an eternal function. It's an eternal occupational duty which cannot change. Which has no beginning, which has also not end. So that means it is eternally staying. Yeah. So, however, when we talk of religion, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, someone might change also from Hindu to Muslim, Muslim to Hindu, and so on. Yeah. So that means, yeah, if it can be changed, then it's not actually the Dharma. It might be a faith. So religion can be understood. It's a kind of faith. Whereas Dharma, like if we take an example, what is the Dharma of water? Liquidity. What is the Dharma of fire? Heat and light. So when heat and light will be taken out from the fire, then fire will not be called fire itself. Yeah. So yeah. So Dharma means it is derived from the Dhru Dhatu, means that which sustains, that is which is the governing principle of that. Dharma means constantly existing with the particular object, like heat and light with the fire, and sweetness with the sugar, and saltiness to the salt. So the living entity, further in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking to the Sanatana Goswami, the actual identity of the Jiva is Jivara Swarupa hai Nitya Krishna Das. That's the reason, the real occupational duty of each Jiva is to serve to the Supreme Lord, to Krishna. That is the service nature is eternal to the Jiva. That's the reason in his conditioned state, in his illusion state, he is serving in this material world to somehow or other. Serving himself, his family, or nation, or state, or company, like president serves country, husband serves wife, and wife serves child. So this is how it's going on. So at any moment, Jiva cannot be divided with any service. He will be always engaged in his service. That is the eternal thing. But when he served to the Supreme Lord, that is the ultimate thing. He is factually related to the Supreme Lord in service only. In rendering devotional loving service to him, in a mood of a servant, because Jivara Swarupa hai Nitya Krishna Das, in that mood only, he will try to please the Supreme Lord, and as a result, he will be also pleased. Otherwise, there is no other means to become happy. Whereas, means we should render devotional loving service to the Supreme Lord, we should worship to the Supreme Lord Krishna, whereas it is being seen in that in society, people also do worship to a lot of other demigods or devatas, which are not in the same platform of Lord Krishna. Why it is that? Because further Lord will state in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, 7.20, Kamaisteistei hatagyana prapadyante anya devata tang niyamam asthaya prakritya niyatah swaya. So Kamaisteistei hatagyana prapadyante anya devata. by motivated with material desires, they go to various demigods, prapadyante anya devata, they surrender to devatas, and those who are hrataggyana, which are devoid of intelligence, whose intelligence are stolen. So actually, the worship has to be made to Lord Krishna. At the same time, we have to be respectable to all the demigods. Basically, they are serving to the Supreme Lord Krishna in variety of capacity in the administration of this material universe. Yeah. So they are in a way called Vaishnavas. So we have to be respectful towards the Vaishnavas. Why did Krishna appear in this material world? Basically, he descends to this material world to give and perform various pastimes in this world, like he performs beautiful pastimes in Vrindavan, just to attract the conditioned soul towards him. Yeah? And he comes here to give us an invite to go back to our real home and to experience that ocean of bliss. Yeah? Because Lord is a reservoir of all pleasure. Yeah? And our Vedanta Sutra says, Anandamayo Vyasat. He is the embodiment of love. So in his association, we can experience that ocean of bliss, because we are part and parcel of him. So we should participate with him. We should cooperate with him. We should give up the mentality of creator or enjoyer or proprietor. We should cultivate a mindset of cooperator. Okay, so time is off. We are stopping here. Yeah, sorry for little overshooting time. Thank you all very much. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We will meet again next week. Thank you.